Hey folks, how you doing? Ron Raymond here from the Raymond Report with your NBA playoff previews for a Tuesday, May 18th. Hope you're having yourself a good start to your Ruby Tuesday. As always, don't forget, subscribe to our channel by tapping that notification bell in the top right-hand corner, or hit the subscribe button below this video if you are using a mobile device. All right, take two. Seems the first video, the audio was a bit fast, so I appreciate the comments. Let me know, because I wouldn't have known. I just forgot to. I edited the film this morning and loaded it up, and I should have checked the audio too, right? So thank you for that. And so today's podcast brought to you by bballpicks.com. Anybody can play, anybody can join. bballpicks.com. And folks, all you got to do is go head over to the site, check out the top scorers right now. And Mike Anthony, Pro Line, 804 scoring. The Ovensby Michael, 793. And the Terminator, Kevin here at 782. Those are your top basketball pickers right now at bballpicks.com. All right, we have two games, playing games here tonight between the Charlotte Hornets and Indiana Pacers. In the first game, tip-off at 6:30 Eastern. And then the second game is between the Washington Wizards and the Boston Celtics at a 9 p.m. start. And Boston a 2-point favorite in that game, where Indiana a 3-point home favorite. Now, before we break down the games, I took down some stats for you guys. And but before I get to my stats, let's talk about the SBI, the Sports Betting Index, and let's see what has come in the last 7 days in the National Basketball Association. Look at the favorites. The favorites, look at Sunday, 12-3 on Sunday, 8-5 against the point spread, 8-5-2, 5-1 on Saturday, 4-2 against the point spread. On Friday, 7-1, and that's because a lot of these teams, the favorites that the bookmakers pegged as favorites, had to win. Some of them had to win those games to jockey themselves up to a better position in the standings. And now we're at Tuesday, May 18th, and we got two play-in games. Now, the way I understand this is that the home teams just got to win one game, and the road teams got to win two games in order to qualify for the 7th and 8th seed, right? So we'll see how that pans out here this evening. And let's talk about the stats. Now, I'm going to bring up the overall stats before I break down the games, because in the playoffs now, if you watch hockey in the playoffs, you can see that offense, defense, and the special teams play a major role, right? You don't want to get into penalty trouble against Tampa Bay. And the same thing in basketball. And I remember reading once about this handicapper talking about some of the important stats of handicapping in basketball. And he got this from a coach. And this was some of the most important things that he felt that factor into your handicapping when you're handicapping a basketball game when it comes to offense and defense. Because in reality, how do you get the strengths and the weaknesses of offense and defense in a basketball stats, right? Is it rebounds? Is it steals? Is it field goals? Is it free throw? But according to this guy, and reading up, rebounds, three field goals, like a 3-point made percentage. So the field goals from 3 points or higher, the field goal made percentages, and the steals, right? Steals are very important. That's I guess you could say, the defense in basketball, along with the rebounds, right? So if you look at the teams here involved tonight, the Charlotte Hornets in rebounds ranked 19th in the league compared to 26th for the Pacers. 3-point percentage shooting, Charlotte ranked 14th, Indiana ranked 17th, and in steals, the Hornets ranked 10th, but Indiana ranked 5th in steals. And of those three categories, Charlotte ranks 2 better than Indiana, where Charlotte rebounds better and their 3-point percentage is better, but Indiana has a better steal percentage. And in the other game, the late nightcap, Washington against Boston, the rebound goes to the Washington Wizards, surprisingly enough. They're ranked 8th in rebounds compared to 15th for Boston. But in the other two categories, it does go to the Celtics in the 3-point percentage play. 22nd for Washington compared to 10th for Boston. And when it comes to steals, Washington's ranked 18th and the Celtics are ranked 13th. So when you're handicapping sports, I always say, if you're new to the Raymond Report, what I'm looking for is indicators, right? These are indicators that I can use when I'm handicapping and factor in the value, the percentage play, and the performance cycles. And as many indicators that I can string along, including rebounds, percentage play of 3-point shooting, and the steals, then I include it into the numbers that I'm handicapping, right? Just keep in mind, we're not handicapping the game, like we're not handicapping the players of Charlotte versus Indiana. We're handicapping the bookmaker's line versus our line, perception versus reality. Now, the perception of the bookmaker is that Indiana is a 3-point favorite and Boston's a 2-point favorite. Now, what's the reality? And that's what I'm going to try to figure out handicapping into this today's games, okay? All right, so we take a look at the offense and defensive scoring ranking. And these are indicators I always like to, factor in when I'm looking at the because if I tell you, Charlotte ranks scores an average of 109.4 points for a game compared to 115 for Indiana. Okay, that gives you an idea on offense. So you're saying, okay, so Indiana shoots 6 points better than the Hornets. And then when it comes to defense, Charlotte is 4 points better. But when I tell you that Indiana's ranked 7th in the league in offense and Charlotte's ranked 23rd, now your mindset is like, okay, so Indiana's the top 10, and then Charlotte's in the bottom 10, right? So that kind of mindset plays into your perception versus reality of handicapping. And the same thing for defense. Charlotte ranked 13th, so middle of the pack on defense. Indiana ranked 25th, so bottom of the thirds for the Pacers when it comes to defense. Now, for the Washington Wizards, they're averaging 116 compared to 112 for Boston. Washington, this is like the Big 12 of football, right? This is like Texas Tech here, or the Golden State Warriors. Not Golden State. So think of like an offensive team like Cincinnati, but don't play good defense in baseball, right? Washington ranked 3rd on offense, but ranked 30th on defense. You can't win championships if you don't play defense. And for Boston, 16th ranked on offense, averaging 112 points a game, compared to 11th on defense, which is pretty respectable, even though they're not top 10 in both categories. Just the average Joe is right in the middle of the pack, right? So something to consider the rest of the way while we handicap these games. Now, the Big Bang Theory, Sheldon, when he has his fun with flags, I do the same thing with stats, right? I call this fun with facts. And the under is 13-1 for the Hornets as an away team when they're facing Indiana the last 7 years. So the under 13-1 for the Hornets as an away team versus Indiana. The Pacers 11-1 straight up as they pick them the -3 home favorite versus Southeast Division opponent the last 10 years. And also, let me see here, the Pacers 10-1, so we went through that one. The under is 17-2 as an away the last 10 years. So the Hornets 17-2 to the under in Indiana the last 10 years. Wow, that's pretty low score. That's a good stat right there. That's a fun fact right there. And Celtics 8-1 after playing the New York Knicks the last 4 years straight up. Now, looking at the games I'm going to handicap here today, folks, I'm going to tell you, in the Washington Wizard game, Boston, that's a tough call. That is a tough call. I'll give you my opinion on that in a second. But consider sometimes the money line could be your best friend betting NBA totals sides that's 3 or less. If you're going to lay 140 in baseball, why wouldn't you do it in basketball, right? I always say that. Now, another fun fact, Boston as a home team versus the Wizards, 12-3 straight up. Charlotte, home or away versus Central Division opponent, 80% of their games went under the last 10. And for the Boston Celtics, when they're a home favorite the last 3 years, coming off 2 ATS wins, 14-3 against the point spread. So some fun facts right there. And let's kick it off with the Pacers taking on the Charlotte Hornets. Now, the Pacers go into this game as a 3-point favorite. The over-under set at 227. ATS forecast computer pick, going to go with look at this, 113.9 for the Pacers, 113.1 for the Charlotte Hornets. Now, the Hornets 3-7 in their last 10. Straight up, 4-6 against the point spread, 5-5 to the over/under, where the Pacers are 5-5 straight up, 6-2-2 to the against the point spread, 7-3 to the over. So 70% of the last 10 games that went over the total. Now in the Raymond Report, I'm looking for value, right? Where's the value in this game? I have the Pacers at plus 0.04, and the bookmakers want 3 from us. So the Pacers are overvalued here tonight against the Hornets. And I had the Charlotte Hornets at plus 1.93. And we're getting 3, so we're getting good value with the Charlotte Hornets. Now, the chance of winning the game straight up is 65.3% for the Pacers compared to 26% for the Hornets. But the chance of covering, the edge goes to the Hornets at 58%. And the Kogo, the chance of this game going over the total is at 39%. And with the history of these two teams going under, we do have a 61% chance of this game going under the total, according to the Raymond Report, chance of game going under the total. Now, Hornets coming into this game not with a lot of confidence on a 5-game straight-up losing streak. The last 3 games for the Pacers have gone over the total. But the good news is, if you do like Charlotte, look at this. In the last, this season, when they're traveling to a team that is playing below 500 in the standings, they are 10-7 straight up, 12-4-1 against the spread, 8-9 to the over-under. And for the Pacers at home against teams that they should be beating, the beatables, they're 7-11, but 5-13 against teams they should be beating. But the big number is this, 7-11. You know, you're playing teams that you're probably an underdog, favorite in those cases. In fact, what's their home favorite record? Home underdog, home favorite, 9-11. So look at that. You should be winning your favorite. When you're a favorite, you should be winning those games 60% of the times. They are 9-11. 113 points for, 112 points against, so they're only winning by 1 on average. And for the Hornets, as a road underdog, 8-19, averaging 109 to 116. Not great numbers, but here's another case making for the Hornets. The Indiana Pacers this year, as they pick them the -3 home favorite, 1-4 straight up and 1-4 against the number, 4-1 to the over. And I do see the last time these two teams met was on April 2nd. It was a 114-97 win for the Hornets at Indiana. So if history repeats itself, we could have a nice win here on the Charlotte Hornets. In fact, when the Charlotte Hornets are on the road this season and they're coming off a road loss as an underdog, 9-3-2 against the point spread. And I do like the Charlotte Hornets. There's only one play I do like here tonight, guys, and it is the Charlotte Hornets. Indiana coming off a 2-game road stand, 0-5 against the spread, 5-17-1 at home, coming off 1 day's rest. And you got two teams below 500, so it is what it is, right? But I do like Charlotte in this case here tonight. Now, here's the game of the night. Washington taking on the Boston Celtics. If you do like the Celtics here tonight, they're a -2 favorite. The over-under at 232.5. The forecast is going to lean with Boston here, 115 to 112. The over-under at 228.67. 4-6 straight up, 6-4 for the Wizards in their last 10. Now the Wizards have covered 7-2-1 to the point spread in their last 10 games, 6-4 to the over. And if you're looking at Boston, though, they're only 4-6 covering the spread in their last 10 games. If you do like Boston, I'm going to recommend you take them on the money line. But if you like the Wizards, take the +2, take that Geico insurance. It could always help, right? The fair market value on both these teams, my value edge, my Vegas index here, -1.4, and they're laying 2. This will probably be down to -1. I don't see this line going higher. It could, who knows? And then +1.8 is my number on the Wizards, and you're getting that +2, right? So you're getting good value on both teams. Or fair market value, not good value, fair market value. Chance of winning the game straight up does favor the Celtics at 64.7%, and the chance of covering is going to go to the Celtics at 43%. So they have the lower high because Washington has a chance of covering of 39%. But the Wizards coming in on a little bit of a hotter streak, winning their last 2. And the last time they played, they beat the Hornets and the Cavaliers, and they lost to the Hawks here by 4, and then they lost to them by 1. So both teams coming in cold a bit. In fact, the Knicks beat the Celtics at MSG 96-92. And let's take a look at some of the under numbers down here. Maybe the total is where you want to lean in this one. Any NBA road teams this season coming off a 3-game homestand, 45-29-1 to the over. And for the Boston Celtics, when they're coming, any home team this year coming off a 4-point loss, 23-14-1 against the spread. So again, I really don't have an opinion on this game here tonight. I think it's going to be a great game. It's just too close to call. I think there's more value betting on the Charlotte Hornets. And if I were to make, it's like the stock market, right? I'm not going to buy stocks every day because it's there. The opportunity is there. No. I think there is a small value on the Charlotte Hornets at +3. And that's where I would lean my selection tonight for tonight's NBA playing games. All right, folks, don't forget today's podcast brought to you by bballpicks.com. You can follow me each and every day. Just go to bballpicks.com. My handle is Ronnie Ray. Look for the Jordan logo. I'm a Jordan guy. 1-0 last time I made my selections. And you can follow my picks each and every day at bballpicks.com. All right, folks, have yourself a great rest of your day watching some pretty good basketball. And we'll see this game here. This is going to be the game of the night. Cheers.